the land and bring it to the shores of the big dock. There's fish there. It is also close to the water intake for the town's drinking water. We even have fishing derbies there every year. All things that Transport Canada was aware of, and yet they never told us of the contamination. In fact, Transport Canada has been trying to sell us its dock since 2013. We have had over 10 meetings with them and never once told us of the liability we would be taking on. Here's how everything unfolded. In the spring of this year, the water levels of the lake Athabasca were so low due to the drought and the industrial water taken from the tar sands. Because of this, we could not use the dock. Fort Chipewyan is an isolated community with no permanent road. At the same time, we had 3 wildfires burning within 2 kilometers of the airport. We were worried that we would have no escape from the community, so we applied to Transport Canada to dredge the dock, and they refused, but they didn't tell us why. Then when we were preparing an application to dredge the dock ourselves, one of the companies bidding on the contract discovered in 2017 a report that Transport Canada never shared with us that showed the dock was contaminated. This report is called the Transport Canada Phase 3 Environmental Site Assessment by EGE Engineering, and it's included in your press package. We will share a link to it in the chat box. This report showed the following. 33 out of the 35 test locations showed levels of toxins above legal limits. The water sediments, the shores, and the dock itself are all contaminated. They found heavy metals like arsenic, mercury, and iron, and they also found uranium. They found hydrocarbons and PAHs, all above legal limits. Many are above the thresholds for human health, aquatic, bio, and animal health. Many of these substances are linked to cancer and other diseases. Since learning of this, we conducted 2 of our own studies that confirmed that the sites are still contaminated with cancer-causing agents. We have conducted a human health risk assessment on the 2017 Transport Canada report that showed the site posed threats to human health. The 2017 report only considered commercial use for the site and did not reflect the reality of people swimming, fishing, hunting, trapping, and harvesting there. Fort Chipewyan is already well known as a community stricken by cancer at the rate twice that of the rest of Alberta. The fact that they're deliberately withholding this information is outstanding. Over 8 years, we've dealt with more than 15 Transport Canada employees, including 3 ministers' office, and none of them told us this is a cover-up, this is environmental racism, and this is deadly. We sent out letters to Transport Canada Minister Pablo Rodriguez asking to meet, but instead of taking a meeting, he resigned to run for the Quebec Liberal leadership. Here are demands. Repair the Transport Canada dock and bring it up to code. Remediate their sites. Dredge a canal to the channel in Lake Athabasca for boat access. Install the temporary dock while this work takes place. Reimburse the nations for the money they spent conducting the tests. Conduct further testings all along the waterfront. Hand over any other data they may have been hiding from us. Hold those that lied to us accountable. Change procedures and policies so this will never happen again. Since we told Transport Canada that we found out about the 2017 report in June of this year, the federal government has not presented any plan to fix it. They haven't sent any inspectors to the community, and they still haven't addressed our concerns about the emergency egress for Fort Chipewyan. Yet, they have told the media they are continuing to lie and hide the truth from Indigenous people. To all the residents of Fort Chipewyan, I am sorry that yet again the federal government has let you down. I understand if you are hurt or scared, and you have every right to be, so that the Three Nations of Fort Chipewyan has arranged for the following help. We have arranged with Noonie Health to offer health screening for anyone who is worried for their health because of the news. Anyone wishing to receive health screening can call Noonie at 780-697-3650 to set up an appointment. For this service is available to anyone in the community, regardless of what nation you belong to. We're also working with the Athabasca Tribal Council to provide healing circles for anyone who would like mental health and spiritual support during this time. They are being held starting Monday at ATC office in Fort Chipewyan from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. While this work continues, we urge our members not to utilize the waterfront area for hunting, swimming, or harvesting or fishing. This is just an example of how low value Transport Canada and the federal government place on Indigenous lives. We will not rest until this problem is resolved, or those who participate in the cover-up are brought to justice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief Adam. We'll now turn it over to Chief Billy Joe Tuckero.
Good morning, everyone. Chief Billy Joe Tuckero here with Miksut Cree First Nation. I'll just add to what Chief Adam made mention to. We were as well notified at the same time they were, probably about, I would say 2 months ago now, when this, I guess when this cover-up was kind of started to unravel for the federal government, because that's what it is. It is a cover-up, and it's sad because the federal government always talks about truth and reconciliation, but yet they cannot be truthful to something that's so important to us, and that's the health of our water. We as community people, we're very scared now finding this out, because a lot of us allow our kids to go into those waters for recreational use, because we know that being a remote community, kids will access any waters that they can. It's very alarming, and as Chief Adam made mention to, it is a cover-up, because for 7 years, 7 years, this was swept under the rug. And if we didn't ask a contractor to look at the bid, like Chief made mention to, this would still be swept under the rug and not brought to our attention. So with that, we are still urging all our members and citizens of the community to stay away from those areas. Do not consume any fish, wildlife, and plants as well. If you have any ground wells in the vicinity that you're using, to let us know, because right now we are not sure about the harms that have been done to our people, because people have to remember, in the last few years, again, the cancer rates have escalated. And for us, for a community of not even 1,000 people, to have the rarest form of cancers, I believe the numbers are from what I gathered, it's like 47 for the rare form of cancers and diseases in and around Fort Chip area. A lot of our people have perished in the last 2 to 3 years. And another thing is too, it's sad that the ACFN started to ask about the dredging, and that the federal government willing to offload it to the nations and give us this liability and risk and put it to our people. And with that, I'm the Mixu are looking at legal avenues, because we know for a fact there was a breach of the duty of care and negligence, a breach of the duty to warn, the nuisance of the impairment of our use and of the lands and the resources, breaches of our Aboriginal and our treaty rights, and as well statutory breaches committed by the Crown. So with that, I'll just leave that for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief Tuckero. We'll now move to President Kendrick Cardinal of the Fort Chipewyan AT. President, please go ahead.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Kendrick Cardinal, President of Fort Chipewyan APTN Nation here in Fort Chip. First of all, I just want to say respectfully, I'd like to request that Minister Anina Anand takes the time to, reach out to our community and set a date for a meeting with the three nations here in Fort Chip to hear our concerns in person. And I just want to say that we obviously know from a clear indication from the feds that they've neglected our inherent right to be able to have access to the waters, take the time to acknowledge our reconciliation process. I wanted to get into it not being he said, she said stuff. We all know what it is we all need to do together and find avenues to be able to work to a process where we could meet our goals. We're a facts-based community where we obviously have been neglected in more than one way or another. And I think it's more about respecting each nation's constitutional right as well. Having a respectful dialogue when it comes to building relationships together. Starting a true reconciliation process is not a one-sided affair. It's all levels of government coming together and acknowledging the work that we have ahead of us. I believe in moving forward, we need to have defining moments as to how we adjust our relationship. It's important that we acknowledge the inherent right of the Indigenous people here in Fort Chipewyan, and how important it is to have them to have access to on-the-land activities and to be able to provide for their families like they have done for centuries. And open to options and to a clear community dialogue to have all parties at the table. I think it's very important in moving forward that we pull each other together and start working together and finding a good avenue to make sure that we get to where it is we want to be. With that, I just say thank you very much for taking the time to listen to the Fort Chipewyan APTN Nation, and I look forward to the comments. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, President Kendrick Cardinal. That concludes our statements. We're going to move into the question and answer portion. We do have a question. First one in is from Julia Wong of CBC. If you could please unmute yourself and ask your question and let us know who you're directing it to. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. I guess whoever may be best suited to answer this, perhaps it's you, Chief Alan Adam. I just want to be very clear. Do you know where this toxic contamination came from? What the sources of it may be?
We believe it could have come from You hear me, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we believe it comes from tailings pond leakage, the Gulf oil spill in the 80s, nearby sunken tugboats, commercial and private boat usage, and natural occurrence of bitumen, combination of everything over the years.
And my follow-up is this another blow layered on top of the Kearl oil spill that your community also only learned about months after the fact? And how does this impact your relationship with governments and institutions?
Well, this was a different issue altogether. It had nothing to do with Pearl Imperial. Had to do with the community state of emergency, how it was discovered and if we do further testing, only then we would be able to know where it comes from. But until then, we could only discuss of the findings that are there now, and we will have to discuss that matter on a different level once we've determined where it comes from.
So, thank you for the question. I'd also like to add, Chief Echo and President Cardinal, if you do have something to add to any of these questions, just go ahead and add it.
No, I'd like to add just the same thing as Chief Adam mentioned. It's a combination of everything. It's not something that was, it just didn't happen overnight, but I guess what this all boils down to, again, I guess it is kind of in line with the Imperial incident because, again, information was withheld, but this time it's on a grander scale. This is over years, not 9 months, and for them to sweep this under the rug is something that we cannot take lightly, and this has to be addressed by the federal government, and not only for them to send us letters back and forth. They have to come into the community. I'm telling them to come into this community. I've written letters inviting them to address this, because this shouldn't lie on the shoulders of the 3 leaders from all the nations. We're the ones that work in relationship with the federal government and the provincial governments. And again, it boils down to truth and reconciliation. You guys want us to move forward? Be honest and truthful with us. Because at the rate that we're going now, is people are getting sick monthly. It's unheard of for couples to leave the community. One goes out to support the other one for their treatments and supports that they have to leave this community for, and for them to both end up sick and for it's uncalled for. And like I said, I commend the ACFN for taking the initiative for the dredging, because if they didn't, this would have been swept under the rug. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We now have a question from Brandy Morin. Can you please unmute yourself and go ahead?
Hi there. I'm just wondering a couple of things. Has Transport Canada responded or communicated at all? And also, what do the leaders suspect the motives behind the cover-up?
You have it?
Minister Johnson.
No minister called myself as chief of the Athabasca Chipewyan First Nation. Any other leaders?
No,
They-
we weren't called by any ministers as well. We sent the letters and they did send a reply. I'm sure this is the same one you got. It was low-level staff person, which is totally uncalled for and unacceptable, especially for something like this.
President Cardinal, I see you shaking your head. Can you give a verbal answer just so they can quote you?
Oh, yeah, thanks. Absolutely no response from any minister regarding in this. The only minister that we've had any interaction with at this point from the federal level has been Minister Stephen Guilbeault. And other than that, there hasn't been any other minister that they have taken the time to come and visit our small isolated community of Fort Chipewyan. So that's all I have to say about that one. Thank you very much.
And just also from the leaders, what do you suspect Transport Canada's motives would be to cover this up for 7 years?
I have a question. Can't answer that
wait.
one because I can't answer for Transport Canada. You know, it's they're doing, they're responsible, and it's disturbing, I guess, when you look at it from a point of view where you're supposed to work together and inform each other of emergency situations and stuff like that. But it just goes to show that Canada and Alberta are both working hand in hand. And if everything was working good, we wouldn't be taking the Alberta government to court on the energy regulator. Still same scenario.
Any other comment from another leader?
Well, I'd just like to add, Transport Canada has had these documents long before we have. And moving forward, I think that Transport Canada really needs to acknowledge, you know, our community in Fort Chipewyan. But primarily, I think they need to start adjusting how their cabinet is operating, because at this point, we're not confident in their ability to be able to reconcile with this community. So, and moving forward, I hope that they can come to the table, start adjusting how they have relationships, and move forward. We could get there, and I am confident that this will happen, and I'm confident that this community will start holding each level of government accountable in a good way, and make sure that we get to where we want to get to. So I have nothing more to say about that. Thanks.
And on March 26th of 24,
Next question.
next question.
Yes, yes, sir. Okay, sorry, Chief Tucker, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes, I'll add to that. In regards to the cover-up, I mean, I can't speak to Transport Canada and why they didn't disclose this information, but I can guarantee again, it all boils down to profits over people. They've been turning a blind eye to the region in regards to what's happening here from the development upstream from us for many years. They keep saying there's no problem here. They finally came to the table and said that they're willing to fund a health study that was it's all about timing. I truly believe that. And 1 week they were here presenting us with $12 million for a health study. Then the week later is when all this information was disclosed. So that tells me something, that they're all the government, they all know about what's going on, especially all this. For far too long, they've turned a blind eye, but we can't turn a blind eye when we're steady burying people in this community, and it's from cancers, rare form of cancers, rare diseases. Now there's more and more of that happening here. Skin sores. A lot of my members are saying that because they go into that water. They launch their boats from that water. A lot of the kids go into those, it's called the beachfront area. And nobody could tell me that water only stays in the dock area. That's why I'm telling all the people from Fort Chip, regardless of what nation you are from, until this is all disclosed and Transport Canada comes into community and addresses this to us as East Nation and everyone here, we need to be on guard. That at this time, we don't know. We don't know what the long-term effects are going to be from this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Tucker. We now have a question from Vince McDermott today. He's asked me to read from the chat. He sent this to me, to Chief Adam, after learning about this, having met with the province on remediating the dock area, and have they done or offered to do any remediation work?
On March 26th, we met with Minister McIver from Alberta, and on April 10th, we met with Minister Lowen and Minister Wilson and Minister Ellis. We asked for help with any required permits to dredge with the emergency management, and they never responded after the meeting. Still today, I don't think we have heard anything from them.
And Chief Tucker or President Cardinal, have you heard anything from any level of the Alberta government?
No, not at all.
That's all the questions we have in the group chat. Is there anyone else who has a question? If they wanted to raise their hand, now's the time. Okay, so I'd like to direct your attention to the group chat. I've put in the link to the press package, which contains the 2017 report we keep referring to, a picture that you can use of Big Dock, the press release, and our letter to Minister Pablo Rodriguez, which he never responded to. We put that all in the press package, and I put the link in the chat. The next thing I'm putting in the chat is if anyone wants. Okay, I do see some other people have other questions, so I will go to you in a second. I'll just finish my thought here. If anyone wants to have one-on-one interviews with the different leaders, I'm putting the press contact for each nation so that you can reach out to them and they'll arrange a call. So I'm now going to go back to the questions. We have Natasha from National Observer. Please go ahead.
Hi, yeah, I hope you can hear me okay. Thanks for taking questions. I was just wondering what time frame the reviews and studies on the soil and water were conducted over, like roughly what dates you guys had commissioned people to look into that.
May, June, July 2024.
I think that it was conducted in May, June, and July of this year of 2024.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got another question from Julia Wong of CBC. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking a couple more questions. I'm just curious, what will you do if the federal government does not act, if they do not remediate the site, and if they do not come to the community as you have so asked? I know that there had been some mention of possible legal action. I'm just curious, what tangible actions could your community resort to?
I think what President Kendrick Cardinal, I think that we'll take it into our own hands and start to make sure that we have to access our own land and our own activities and judge it ourselves.
But as the chief of Mixu, if Transport Canada isn't coming to the community here, then we'll take it to them in Ottawa. I mean, it seems that's where you have to go for them to actually come to the table. You send letter after letter, that's all they do is shelve them, and you get the disrespect, and you get the low-level staffing that reply to you. And if that does not work, I guess we as the community will have to unite and target some key areas to shut down, I guess, the economic engine of Canada, to make our word be heard, because this is enough. This is enough. For 7 years, people use that area, man. A lot of young kids have started to get sick in community, and people are wondering why. I thought about this last night. I thought about my children. And I just took them in there a couple of years ago. So with that, Transport Canada, federal government, this is your warning. That if you do not come to us, we'll take it to you. Thank you.
And just
Okay,
another
thank you,
follow-up.
President Cardinal and Chief Tuckrow. We have another question from Brandy Moore. Can you please go ahead?
Hi there. Yes, I just had a question regarding access to the dock. So I think I read in one of the press releases that access is completely cut off. What does that mean? Does that mean that boats aren't pulling up there, or can you let me know? Clarify that for me.
Okay, we'll rotate the order. President Cardinal, you want to go ahead?
Well, this spring, we had very, very substantial low waters. A lot of people with boats weren't able to access the water from each dock, but of course, the Forestry Dock and Big Dock. So basically, we had to wait in order to be able to have access after the runoff came from the mountains, and the rain eventually started filling up the lake. But before that, we weren't able to go in to access our homelands. A lot of people weren't able to go to their cabins. So it's kind of like the way it was back in 1970, 1967, somewhere in those, when the Bennett Dam started filling their hydro dam. So same thing. Not able to access cabins, not be able to go and use our traditional right to provide for ourselves on the land. Those things. So a lot of disheartening things happen to our community of Fort Chip. It's very saddening to be able to witness that as a very, very avid land user. But most primarily, I guess, we weren't able to go out of the dock, so a lot of people were pulling their boats and trying very hard to pull their boats in the mud. I mean, we're resilient people here in Fort Chip. We try our best to find as the best access we can. It's unfortunate that we have to really rely on hard work and determination from our Indigenous communities to make sure that we get where we want to get, with or without. But there's a seat at the table that needs to be addressed, and that seat needs to be together. And it's very, very important that us as the Three Nations and other community members in this community hold the government to Fort Chipewyan, take the time to come here, respectfully reach out to each other, and create a communication stream to where we can get to the goals that we want to get to. Thanks.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify so that the dock is available still right now just for boat access?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you for your question. I now have another online question from the chat box. This is from Vince McDermott of Fort Victoria Today, and it's to Chief Tuckrow, President Cardinal. What have you heard from the members of the community after you released this information to them yesterday?
I've had parents reach out. They're scared. They're wanting to know what's the next steps forward. But as Chief Adam made mention to, we are working with our local health authority here to put the necessary next steps for the community members available, and that's screening, mental health, wellness, and all of those. Put those all in place for them. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. One of the replies that I got, oh my God, my kid was swimming there last night. What should I do? Are they going to get sick? Or, babe, my girl was 2 years old. She's swimming there, and, other adults were swimming there. This is a regular thing. They swim there all summer long. So it's not uncommon. They're jumping off the big dock, they're jumping into the water, kids are swimming there. In the beach, we have activities there all summer, volleyball, swimming, we have all kinds of activities there, and it's ongoing. So to be told that there's contaminants and possibly cancer causing remnants or what's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, so the kids and parents were very scared and concerned.
Okay, thank you, the two of you. That's all the questions I have in the chat. If anyone else has one, please raise your hand. If not, I will again direct you to the chat box, which has a link to the press package that contains documents you'll need to round out your stories. I have also included the emails and phone numbers of the press contacts for each nation if you wanted to conduct a one-on-one interview. So I'll ask one final time if there's any other questions, and if not, we will conclude this press conference. Going once, going twice. Okay. All right. Thank you to our three panelists and leaders. Thank you for all that you're doing to help us in this terrible time. And thank you to all the media for your interest in this story. And like I said, each leader is available for comment following this. Thank you very much.